going to do the install on the Rooftop 360 system. This is a full containment system that has mats that go all the way around the perimeter of the exhaust fan. Okay, to begin our install, what we're going to do is take one of the mat materials and we're going to lay it firmly up against the curb. And what we want to do is we want to make sure and have this butted up against the edge of the actual curb itself. It's going to be how we measure this thing. So we've got it measured out. What we're really looking for is, if we take a measurement on the curb itself, we've got we'll call it 27 inches. What we're going to do is we're going to add 25 inches to this. This is going to determine how long we're going to cut this matting material down to. If we add the 27 plus the 25 is we're going to cut it to 52. Okay, one quick tip is that can save you some time. Is you notice we went ahead and measured down and we came up with 52 inches. What you'll notice is if you go ahead and put down your mat in place, it's going to automatically fall in at that 52-inch mark. Okay, we're fixing to make our cut on this first mat. Again, we want to make sure that we're squared up on the corner. We don't want to cut anything onto any type of roof material with any type of razors or knives or anything else. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a little bit of a cheating system. We got the mat laid out. We're going to use one of our rails for a straight edge. Notice we're coming right down that 52-inch mark. Should be good and square. Just kind of double check that. And we're going to take and just make us a mark right across that top of that material. The key is, again, you only want to cut once, measure twice. Let's look back over. Make sure we're squared up on that corner. Make sure our edges are lined up. And now we're going to take, you can use different types of heavier duty scissors, 10 steps, things like that. We're going to cut this length off of this mat. Okay, now that we've got our mats laid out and cut to length, what we're going to do is we're going to start putting our rails along. This process is going to repeat on all four sides. The great thing about this system is because as you see it come together, the sides are going to slide in and it expands in. It gets bigger and smaller. You don't have to be exact on this. So, nice thing with me is I'm going to go ahead and just freelance it here a little bit, get an approximate, set my rail down. I'm going to go ahead and put this one rail in place. Now if you get right here, you'll see the material is actually going to slip in and it tucks underneath this rolled edge. That's what's securing the outer edge of the mat material into place. So we're going to go through, slide it under, and we'll begin tucking that material, just slipping it. I definitely recommend wearing gloves whenever you're working around sheet metal, just to avoid the sharp edges, as it can cut you quickly. So what we'll do is we're going to walk around, we're going to tuck those mats back up inside there, get that good and secure. We're going to continue on to all four sides. Okay, with all of our four corners laid out, what we're going to do is, the easy way to do this, there's a little bit of a gap over here there's a protective foot for your corners. What we're going to do is pull this mat material up a little bit. And if you'll kind of start it into that corner, what will happen is you can scooch it in there and you're going to notice this thing drops right into place. So if you get in a little closer, what we're going to do is we'll come back in, already preloaded, using a magnetic 3/8 driver. That's what all of our screw kits come with. What we're going to do is we're going to come back in, come right here. We're going to zip that screw in. What I would do is I would go ahead and do the next screw over on this corner. Kind of double check in case it's pushed or pulled a little bit to make sure it's square. Come back in. Okay. Once you get the top screws in, you're going to notice in these rails there's already holes burned out for you. If you'll just take your self-tappers, screw that in, you can come back and hit that, and that'll just help reinforce that rail system. Okay, in your kit, we've got your rail system that's going to be installed all the way around. Now we're ready to move on to the portion for the deflector shield that comes in off of the actual fan curve. What we're going to do when we're installing this is, we can do it a couple different ways. We can come in here and take a measurement. We knew that was 27 from earlier. What we want to do is be 2 inches shorter. Whenever we get done, you're going to see us come in on the next step and put some corner pieces in. You don't have to be spot on. I'd say on this area, be a little bit short. Too long gets in the way for putting the corners on. You'll see that come together here shortly. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to cheat. I'll go this way and have 27, mark it down at 25. If I was a cheater, I would come in, take an inch off one side, inch off the other, get an approximate. Yep, I've got 1 inch clearance, and now I'm ready to go. Now we're going to use some heavy tin snips to make this cut. This is 28 gauge steel, so it's pretty light. Just a good standard set of Home Depot or Lowe's tin snips should do you just fine. Now what we're going to do is we've got this centered up. This thing's cut down to 25 basically. And we just want to put a nice little level on it. Make sure that we're hitting in between the bubble. And a good way to cheat is to come in and go ahead and just make a mark all the way across this piece. Now what we want to do is we want to take, again, one screw right in the middle of the curb, push in, everything lock off, it's fine. What we're going to do is we want to make sure and seal this up good so no grease or anything can get back behind this. So it seems a little bit redundant. We're going to remove this piece. The good news is we've already got a pilot hole drill. Inside your kit, you're already going to have some SureBond 188 sealant clear. What we're going to do is we're just going to run nice little bead, doesn't have to be overly thick. We're just going to chase that bead right down the back side of this. So as we get there, take our hole, get this pilot, you chase in your threads, it makes it a little bit easier to hit. Go right back in that hole. Okay, once you've got all 4 deflector shield straight pieces in place, with one screw centered, what we're going to do is put in our corner deflectors. Now, what you want to do is come up, and you'll notice, we talked about earlier, if you're a little bit short, this material is going to wrap around and extend over. What we'll do is we'll kind of get right back up in this corner. We'll take our self-tapping screw, and going to work it right through 2 pieces of metal. This stuff's thin enough that it shouldn't be a problem. Okay, our last and final piece that we're going to do, we've got our secured corners in all the way around on our deflector shield. Again, we put caulking in back behind there, which is bleeding through. Metal's going to kind of chase the edge of the actual curve of the fan. So what we want to do is just put one more little bit of caulking in here. Finish with a quality job. I'm just going to take and roll that. If you get to where it's away from the curb a little bit, don't be afraid to shoot just a little bit of extra caulking down in that seam. So you might see me kind of float back in that area. I want to make sure that stays nice and flush. Didn't allow anything to come back in behind it. Our final piece that we're going to do is our holding rods. Nice and easy. These are polycarbonate rods, so they'll take the environment and the UV and everything. What we want to do is take them, make a triangle more or less. We're just going to go from corner to corner. All you're going to do is kind of lead it in a little, push it underneath that edge, come back over to this side, tuck it underneath there, and if you kind of pull back, you can secure those pieces nice and easy. We'll continue on doing that on all 4 sides, and that wraps us up.